Hello there, glad to have you join us on our comprehensive news. I am Dominic Agbea. First, the highlights. President Tinubu approves National Carbon Market Framework to unlock $3 billion yearly. Kebbi government reopens MAGA school 3 months after abduction. Wife for first civilian governor of Ogun State, Chief Mrs. Lucia Onabanjo, dies at 101 as Governor Abiodun expresses deep condolences to the family. Niger revokes licenses of tanker drivers who refused to go to Mali amid jihadist blockade.
And also on the news, World Bank projects steady global growth in spite of uncertainties. I'll bring you details of this and many more stories on the business segment of the news. I am Okwayemi Adeomi. Don't go away.
Still on the news, Manchester United and Michael Carrick reach agreement over interim role. Join me on sports segment of the news for the details of this and other stories. I am Sheyi Alao. Don't go away.
You cannot escape the responsibility of tomorrow by evading it today. Don't forget you can watch us live on our website at www.ogtv.com.ng/live. For the latest news and reports, check us on these platforms: X at Ogun TV, Facebook, Ogun State Television, YouTube at Ogtv Abeokuta, TikTok at Ogun State Television. And now to the news in full. President Bola Tinubu has told world leaders that Nigeria is mobilizing climate finance through a newly activated carbon market framework expected to unlock between $2.5 billion and $3 billion annually over the next decade. Speaking at the 2026 edition of the Abu Dhabi Sustainability Week, themed The Nexus of Next, All Systems Go, Tinubu said the country has taken vigorous regulatory steps to strengthen its climate governance. This includes the adoption of the National Carbon Market Activation Policy and the launch of the National Carbon Registry to improve emissions, reporting and verification. Tinubu cited the 2023 Electricity Act, which provides for decentralized, inclusive energy access to rural communities, off-grid health facilities, educational institutions, markets, and undeserved areas. It said the government is modernizing Nigeria's energy architecture to deploy sustainable power to these communities. The president announced several financing initiatives to include a climate investment platform targeting $500 million for climate-resilient infrastructure, a national climate platform aiming to support $2 billion in capital investment, and a $50 billion sub-regional green bond that was oversubscribed by 97.7%. And now to Ogun State, where the All Progressives Congress in the state has commenced the electronic registration and re-registration of members as part of a strategic mobilization drive to expand the party's base, strengthen internal cohesion, and prepare the party for future political engagements. Flagging off the exercise on Tuesday, Ogun State Governor Prince Dapma Abiodun described the initiative as a major opportunity for the party members and supporters across the state to deepen their commitment to the APC, which he reaffirmed as the largest and most successful political party in Africa. Details are in this package.
Represented by his deputy, engineer Noimot Salako Uyedele, the governor of Ogun State said the registration exercise would open the door for new members to proudly join the winning party, while also providing a credible, transparent, and technology-driven membership database. According to him, the electronic process will eliminate manipulation and fraudulent practices, enhance accuracy, and ensure efficient data management in line with global best practices in political party organization. Governor Abiodun called on party leaders, stakeholders and members at all levels to fully mobilize supporters across the state and ensure mass participation in the exercise.
Anybody who wants to be a member of our party, and like I said, this is a re-registration, so you remind people, yes, they were registered 4 years ago, but they have to re-register. So they shouldn't think that because they had done it 4 years ago, they have no need to do so. This is a re-registration, and everybody has to come on board the e-platform that has been put in place today. This is an opportunity for us to also make sure that we remind people who want to be part of us, who are proud to be associated with us, that that association must be carried along to the general election, and they must have their INEC voters card. So if anybody comes and wants to register, they do not have their INEC registration, which is a prerequisite for the registration, you can then direct them to go and register at INEC so that they can become bona fide members of our party.
In his remarks, the state chairman of APC, Chief Yemi Sanusi, urged party faithful to see the exercise as a unifying and strengthening process rather than a passive or transactional venture. Chief Sanusi called on party leaders across the 236 wards of the state to provide full support for the exercise and assure members that the party leadership will deploy additional registration centers and operators where necessary to accommodate all prospective members within the limited time available.
I appeal to you, our leaders, especially the ward leaders who are to hamper this exercise, that all adults that are willing to register as our party member must be registered.
The flag-off ceremony also featured the electronic registration of key party leaders, including the Deputy Governor, the Speaker of Ogun State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Ludaisi Elemide, the Secretary to the State Government, Mr. Tokumbo Talabi, and the Chief of Staff to the Governor, Dr. Toyin Taiwo, underscoring the leadership's commitment to the exercise.
And away from party politics, the federal government has announced the commencement of operations at a high-purity gold refining plant in Lagos, with 3 additional gold refineries at different stages of development across the country, and a $600 million lithium processing plant in Nasarawa State ready for commissioning. The Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dele Alake, who disclosed these, said the projects marked tangible outcomes of the government's value-added policy in the mining sector and will reposition Nigeria as Africa's leading minerals hub and a strategic global partner in critical minerals for the green energy transition. Alake spoke during a meeting with the Saudi Arabian Minister of Industry and Mineral Resources, Mr. Ibrahim Al-Karayev, held ahead of the Future Minerals Forum in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. According to Alake, the operational Lagos refinery and the forthcoming lithium processing facility underscore the federal government's determination to move Nigeria away from the export of raw minerals to in-country processing and beneficiation. It noted that Nigeria was eager to strengthen its partnership with Saudi Arabia by leveraging areas of comparative advantage, particularly in capacity building, training of mining professionals, technology transfer, and exploration. The Ogun State Special Agro-Industrial Processing Zones Program, a federal government initiative implemented in collaboration with the Ogun State government, the African Development Bank, and the International Fund for Agricultural Development, has organized the nutrition education training for women and farmers organization across the state. The training brought together women farmers, agro-processors, and members of various farmers associations with the objective of strengthening nutrition awareness, encouraging healthy dietary practices, and improving food security at both household and community levels. Ikem Agro covered the training, and a report is presented in this package. The Ogun State Special Agro-Industrial Processing Zone Program
is a government initiative aimed at creating designated hubs for agricultural processing, bringing together farmers, processors, and investors to boost food security, create jobs, and drive the industrialization of the agricultural sector. Speaking at the program, officials of the Ogun State Special Agro-Industrial Processing Zone explained that the initiative focuses on empowering women and farmers through practical nutrition, education, with emphasis on balanced diets, food safety, as well as proper food processing and storage. A nutritionist at the training notes that improved nutrition remains a critical component of agricultural development, adding that educating women and farmers would help reduce malnutrition and enhance overall well-being in rural communities.
We should also educate people around them to ensure that they have home gardening around them, plants, fruits and vegetables for consumption, and to increase household consumption of locally available food.
Participants at the training commended the organizers for what they described as a timely and impactful initiative, while calling for regular capacity building programs to further strengthen agricultural productivity and promote healthy living across the state.
This was an interesting section, and we saw a lot of people participated in asking questions, and they had a lot of concerns.
There are many ways through which we have been empowered through the gift of fertilizer, insecticide, and then opening of farmlands, so as to make sure that at least there's food security in Ogun State.
The Ogun State Special Agro-Processing Program reaffirmed its commitment to sustainable agriculture, value addition, and improved livelihood for farmers and agro-based entrepreneurs in Ogun State. The program is a federal government initiative implemented in collaboration with the Ogun State government, with support from the African Development Bank and the International Fund for Agricultural Development.
Meanwhile, in line with its commitment to strengthening agricultural development and empowering farmers organizations in Obafemi Owode local government area and its environs have been trained on effective record keeping and proper documentation. The training organized under the Ogun State Special Agro-Industrial Processing Zones program was aimed at equipping farmers with essential skills required for efficient farm management, accountability, and sustainable agricultural practices. Olaido Lawyer reports.
The Ogun State Special Agro-Industrial Processing Zones program continues its capacity building initiative for farmers organizations across Ogun State as it trains farmers in Obafemi Owode local government area on record keeping and proper documentation. The training, held at Obafemi Owode local government hall, attracts participants from various farmers groups, cooperatives and agribusiness clusters within the local government area and neighboring communities. The initiative is a federal government program implemented in collaboration with the Ogun State government, with support from the African Development Bank and International Fund for Agricultural Development. Participants are exposed to practical knowledge on how to keep accurate farm records, track input and output, document sales and expenses, and maintain organized cooperative records. Key requirements for effective farm management and improved productivity.
We have invited 105 FOs from Obafemi Owode representatives, and all these representatives now will now go home and disseminate and also teach members of their FOs on how to take record keeping of the activities they are doing. If you don't keep record, you will not know when am I making profit, when am I making loss. If there is no record keeping, there is no way you'll be able to determine that am I making it or am I just doing it.
Facilitators guide the farmers through hands-on sections on basic farm records, including input usage sales documentation, inventory management, and record required for cooperative operations.
They request for all this record because before you can access such support. So it's very important. You see, I believe that's what we have been telling them, that the fact that they're illiterate does not mean you cannot keep record. In the olden days, our fathers, they kept record using some things, material things. But these days, some of them have literate children that can help them to keep the record. All they need is just to call the literature.
Some of the participants commend the Ogun State government and the SARS program for the initiative, describing the training as timely and relevant to improving their farming and business practices.
Thank the state government and IFA for bringing this information to this place. If they not bring this information to this place, we don't know about what they call farm recording. It helps us in our farm products and our farm manufacturing.
And this is a very good opportunity. We hope to see many more of it.
The training forms part of the broader objectives of the Ogun State Special Agro-Industrial Processing Zones program to boost agricultural productivity, promote value addition, and drive economic growth through organized market-oriented farming. Olaide Oloye, Ogtv News.
And away from agriculture, the Kebbi State government has announced the reopening of Government Girls Comprehensive Secondary School, MAGA, where 24 schoolgirls had been abducted before they were later released. The Commissioner for Basic and Secondary Education, Dr. Alima Bande, made this known while briefing journalists shortly after a security meeting with principals and heads of schools in Benin Kebbi. The decision follows the abduction of students from the school in November last year, after which the victims were successfully rescued. Bante stated that confidence has been restored among parents and students through counseling and a full deployment of security personnel, paving the way for the resumption of academic activities at the school. She disclosed government's resolve to put in place all necessary security measures to guarantee the safety of students and staff. According to her, Governor Nasiru Idris has directed the conduct of security awareness programs for principals and school staff to prevent a recurrence of such incidents. The Commissioner emphasized that principals, vice principals, staff, and students all have vital roles to play in maintaining school security. Back to Ogun State now, where the House of Assembly in the state has assured the community leaders and people of Akure community and other affected villages near Irowa in Ijebu Northeast and part of Ijebu East local government area that immediate steps will be taken to address the indiscriminate military land acquisition, creating tension and apprehension amongst residents in the areas. Speaker Right Honorable Oludaisi Elemide gave the assurance while leading other members of the Assembly on an on-the-spot assessment of the affected areas. Kolawole Oshor's report is presented in this package.
Leading members of the Ogun State House of Assembly on an on-the-spot assessment tour to the affected areas, Speaker Right Honorable Oludaisi Elemide explained that the land crisis stemmed from the failure to properly gazette and document the earlier review that reduced the portion allocated to the Nigerian Army, while commending the members representing the two affected constituencies, Honorables Oluwaseun Adesanya and Waliu Owode, for their efforts and urged the residents to remain peaceful and law-abiding as elected representatives move to address the matter.
Be sure that this House will do everything within our constitutional right to assist.
Speaker Elemide also advised all affected communities to formally communicate the House of Assembly, assuring that lawmakers will deliberate on the matter and adopt a resolution to be communicated to the appropriate authorities for necessary actions towards achieving a permanent resolution. On their part, the member representing the two constituencies, Honorables Adesanya and Owode, assured the people of lasting resolution, encouraged them to remain calm and law-abiding as they intensified efforts to resolve the disputes.
We don't want you people to take laws into your hands. We are law-abiding citizens.
The State Surveyor General, Surveyor Oladele Ewulo, stated that his team had conducted an initial assessment of the area and would undertake further investigation and inquiries, noting that the outcome would guide stakeholders towards a peaceful and sustainable resolution. The Kabiyesi of Akure Kingdom, Oba Jimson Owode Oyelaja, stressed that Akure and other affected villages had existed for over 600 years, and lamenting recent demolition, loss of life, destruction of schools, hospitals, houses, and properties allegedly linked to the enforcement of the disputed acquisition.
And people have been dying immediately this thing started, including violence. So that is why we cry out to you, sir. So please come and help us to to get us out of this problem so that there won't be any violence in our place.
Major General S.A. Odunsi, retired, explained that the Akure community was seeking legislative intervention to restore ancestral lands excessively acquired by the military in 1977, noting that although a reduced portion was earlier agreed upon for military use, a 1987 Gazette controversially reinstated the large expanse, thereby plunging the people into decades of uncertainty.
Only the political solution of our elected representatives, especially the legislature, can bring full restoration of this case. That's why we believe your visit today, therefore, is proudly significant, sir. It signifies that a democratic solution is within reach.
The retired general further appealed to the State House of Assembly to treat the matter with the urgency it required as the dispute approaches its 50th anniversary.
And still ahead, U.S. boosts Nigeria's fight against terrorism with new critical military supplies. Join us for details after the break.
The World Bank, in partnership with the state government, established this project called the Ogun State Economic Transformation Project so as to further fast-track and accelerate the development objectives towards realization of the economic advancement of the state.
It's a project that cuts across the agricultural sector, the education ecosystem, the creating a better business enabling environment, and also revamping some of the core public sector management areas.
The impact of Ogtv is visible across Ogun State. Farmers are earning more. Students are learning better, businesses are growing, and citizens are enjoying improved services. The project has also created thousands of jobs, reduced poverty, and improved livelihoods. Ogtv is improving the livelihood of all Ogun.
Still watching the Ogtv Comprehensive News. A solemn mood of reflection, prayers, and deep emotions enveloped Ijebu-Ode as government officials, family members, and residents pay a condolence visit to the residence of Madam Lucia Onobanjo, who passed on at the age of 101. The visit marked the end of an era for the family and the community as tributes poured in to celebrate a life whose values, memories, and legacy continue to endure. Toyi Ogudepe was at the Onobanjo's residence in Ijebu-Ode. A report is presented in this package.
As the news of the demise of the wife of the former governor of Ogun State, Madam Lucia Onobanjo, filtered into the society, it attracted dignitary, family members, top government functionaries to the Ijebu-Ode residence of the Onobanjos. The condolence visit, led by the Ogun State Governor, represented by the Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, Honorable Amzat Ganiu, is aimed at commiserating with the family and the host community over the passing of the centenarian. Speaking during the visit, the Commissioner describes the late Madam Lucia Onobanjo as a woman whose lifespan generations, noting that her legacy of peace, unity, and selfless service will continue to inspire many.
It's a day to be born and there's a day to die. We thank God for the life of Mama. Mama lived a very fulfilled life, and we pray that may Almighty God let her soul continue to rest in perfect peace.
Family members, while receiving the delegation, expressed gratitude to God for the fulfilled life of the deceased, describing our attainment of 100 years as a rare blessing worthy of thanksgiving, despite the pain of her departure. Community members also paid their last respect, recalling Madam Lucia Onobanjo's kindness, motherly care, and positive impact on the neighborhood.
It has been very nice to all of us, the community, those of us that associate with the daughter as politicians and everything. So each time we come here, she always embraces us. And we thank God for her life. She has been a good matriarch after the death of our papa, late Shibisa Onobanjo.
my last encounter with her was on Thursday when she had a physio session. It was a smooth and pleasant one. But who are we to question our maker? Would forever cherish our memories.
Tributes continue to pour in from different walks of life, celebrating a woman whose century-long journey leaves indelible footprints in the sands of time. Madam Lucia Onobanjo, a reverend matriarch and wife of the late former governor, Chief B.C. Onobanjo, was remembered for a life defined by humility, resilience, and service to humanity.
Meanwhile, Ogun State Governor Prince Dapper Abiodun has expressed deep condolences to the family of former Governor of Ogun State, Chief Victor Olabisi Onobanjo, over the passing of their matriarch, Chief Mrs. Lucia Onobanjo Onobowale, who died at the age of 101 years. In a statement issued in Abeokuta on Tuesday, Governor Abiodun described the demise of Mama Onobanjo as the end of a glorious era, noting that she lived a highly exemplary, fulfilled and distinguished life devoted to God, family and humanity. The governor said that although the loss of a mother is always painful regardless of age, Mama Lucia's transition at the age of 101 is also worthy of celebration, given her impactful life and enduring legacy. According to him, Mama Onobanjo stood firmly by her husband, the late Chief Olabisi Onobanjo, through his historic struggles for democracy, human rights, and social justice in Nigeria. Governor Abiodun prayed that God would grant the Onobanjo family, friends, and associates the fortitude to bear the irreparable loss. May our soul continue to rest in peace. And away from that, United States government has delivered critical military supplies to Nigeria in support of the country's ongoing security operations. This was disclosed by the United States Africa Command, AFRICOM, in a statement posted on its verified X, formerly Twitter handle, noting that the supplies were handed over to Nigerian authorities in Abuja. According to the command, the delivery underscores the United States' continued commitment to strengthening its security partnership with Nigeria. The latest support comes amid sustained efforts by Nigeria and its international partners to enhance capacity in addressing security challenges across the country. In November 2025, the Bola Tinubu-led presidency had appealed to the United States to deploy its military to help Nigeria fight terrorism in some states of the Federation. Turkey has requested to be included in Nigeria's electronic visa system as part of efforts to ease travel and boost business and diplomatic exchanges between both countries. The request was made when the Turkish ambassador to Nigeria, Mehmet Paroyi, paid a courtesy visit to the Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Tunjiojo, at the Ministry of Interior headquarters in Abuja. This was disclosed in a statement by the head of press and public relations, Mrs. Miri Ali. Ali said the ambassador explained that the absence of a Nigerian visa office in Istanbul poses logistical challenges for Turkish applicants who must travel to Ankara to complete visa processes. He said inclusion in Nigeria's e-visa regime would significantly improve business mobility and encourage more Turkish investors and traders to visit Nigeria. Responding, Tunjiojo said restricting genuine business travelers was not in the interest of either Nigeria or Turkey, assuring that the ministry is committed to transparency, dialogue, and continuous improvement in visa administration. It was an atmosphere marked by faith, unity, and deep cultural pride as sons and daughters of Egbaland converged on the Ake Palace Pavilion for the 2026 Egba Day of Prayer, offering supplications for peace, progress, and divine guidance for the land and its people. The annual gathering drew royal fathers, religious leaders, and prominent sons and daughters of Egbaland, reinforcing the belief that spiritual unity remains a vital pillar for communal growth and development. Details are in this package.
The ancient city of Abeokuta came alive as traditional rulers, clerics, community leaders, youth and indigents from far and near gather at the Ake Palace Pavilion for the 2026 Egba Day of Prayer. Deeply rooted in Egba history and values, the annual spiritual exercise serves as a moment of reflection, thanksgiving and collective intercession for Egbaland, Ogun State, and Nigeria as a whole. Prayers were offered for peace, unity, and sustainable development, as well as for protection of lives and property across Egba communities. Clerics from different faiths led supplications, reinforcing message of harmony, tolerance, and peaceful coexistence. The presence of royal fathers added cultural depth to the event, with traditional rulers emphasizing the importance of spiritual consciousness alongside traditional leadership in shaping the future of Egbaland. The preacher of the occasion, Right Honorable Oludaisi Elebide, stresses that unity remains the cornerstone of societal development and lasting progress.
We need to unite. As Egbas, we need to unite. I am urging them to unite to build a greater Egbaland.
Royal Fathers underscores the necessity of togetherness and collective responsibility among the people.
What is right by the law? Don't step on the law. Do your duty as good citizens and leave the rest to God. God will answer the rest.
United we stand, divided we fall. Unity has been the bane of Egbaland. I thank God that things are getting better.
If you really want peace amongst ourselves, our progress is to come together and work together as one. And that's when we can have development and peace that we all yearn for. Even the security that is a bit shaky in Nigeria now, it's only when we come together as one and work together as partners in progress that we can begin to have that.
Chairman of the Egba Day of Prayer, Right Reverend Emmanuel Adekunle, speaks on the importance of cooperation, expressing hope for a better year ahead through trust in God.
Everyone should have faith and believe God the more. Trust in the Lord, hold on to Him, and hold on to Psalm 21:26. It shall be done.
The Balogun of Egba Christian Chiefs also emphasizes the role of evangelism in moral reorientation and societal development.
To appreciate all present, especially our KBSCs and our fathers in the Lord, and to thank them for their prayers that we as Christian chiefs were divided before today. Now we're one.
The Egba Day of Prayer continues to stand as a powerful reminder that beyond policies and development plans, the true strength of any people lies in unity, faith, and a shared vision for a prosperous future. As prayers ascended from the Ake Palace Pavilion, hope was rekindled for a greater, more peaceful and progressive Egbaland.
All 12 Ibarakba towns in Ogun State have been urged to come together and speak with one voice as the 5th Orile Itafin Ibarakba Day is celebrated. The call came as the palace of the Onitafin of Orile Itafin, Oba Maruf Alani Adebayo, alongside a community bowl project, were inaugurated by the Laki and Paramount ruler of Egbaland, Oba Adedotu Gbadibo. Matthew Shoimi reports.
Orile Itafin under Odeda local government area came alive with color, culture, and celebration as sons and daughters of Ibarapa land gathered for the 5th Orile Itafin Ibarapa Day. As part of the activities lined up for the celebration, the Alake and Paramount ruler of Egbaland, Oba Adedotu Gbadibo, inaugurates the newly completed palace of the Onitafin of Orile Itafin, Oba Maruf Alani Adebayo, as well as a borehole project to provide potable water for the community. Oba Gbadibo, alongside other traditional rulers, government functionaries, and dignitaries, later converged to celebrate the rich cultural heritage, unity, and progress of Orile Itafin. Commissioners for local governments and chieftaincy affairs, Honorable Ganiyu Amzat, and culture and tourism, Chief Sheson Fagbayi, expressed satisfaction with the level of development recorded in the community, attributing the progress to purposeful leadership under the reign of Oba Moruf Alani Adebayo.
Kabiyesi has done a lot for his people. We now have a palace, and there are some other projects that will be commissioning.
I would urge them, home and abroad, the sons and daughters of Ibarapa, to come together, rally around Kabiyesi.
Traditional rulers and other dignitaries commend the people of Orile Itafin for their choice of a monarch, noting that peace, unity, and development continue to thrive in the land.
All these Oriles is the homestead where all of us came from before we spread out. I'm very proud of Kabiyesi, and I'll give it again to our paramount ruler for giving them Kabiyesi in this community.
I congratulate the entire indigenous of Orile Itafin.
We believe by this time next year, the coronation will be more colorful.
Speaking at the events, the Onitafi of Orile Itafin, Oba Moruf Alani Adebayo, describes the celebration as a unifying platform for all Ibarapa communities in Ogun State aimed at fostering cooperation, unity, and sustainable development while appreciating the people for their support and commitment.
I thank my people for the support I've been enjoying from them.
Highlights of the celebration include the conferment of traditional titles on deserving indigenes who pledge continuing loyalty and support to the monarch and the development of the community. The event reaches a colorful climax with electrifying performances by guest artists, adding glamour and excitement to the celebration. Matthew Shoumi, Ogtv News.
The Ojodu Abiodun community has witnessed a significant traditional event with the installation of new chiefs, a move aimed at strengthening leadership and accelerating grassroots development. Stakeholders at the ceremony urged the newly installed chiefs to work in unity with the traditional ruler of Samuel Shubowale Benson to promote peace, progress, and sustainable development in the community. Ayodeji Tomori Oluwemi reports.
It is an atmosphere of excitement and cultural splendor in Ojodu Abiodun as newly appointed chiefs were formally installed to serve the community in various capacities. The Olojodu of Ojodu, Oba Samuel Shubowale Benson, explains that the appointments are based on the integrity, antecedents, and contributions of the chiefs to the growth and development of the town.
I gave them the title there, and I told them that you have to come to Nigeria and do the Iwuyo ceremony, and I'm very happy they all come. But this one, they really impressed me. They are my club member at Chicago, the new club of Chicago.
Royal fathers and invited dignitaries at the occasion described the installation as a call to service, charging the new chiefs to work closely with the monarch in advancing development initiatives across Ojodu Abiodun.
As a chief, you are a respected somebody in the society, even throughout the world, provided they hear that you are a chief in Ojodu land.
My advice for them is they should remember where they take the chieftaincy. They should come back home. They come and establish in Nigeria.
The people in Ojodu who definitely feel their presence here. These are people who are giving people, who knows what the community really needs.
In separate remarks, the newly installed chiefs pledged their loyalty and commitment to the throne, promising to collaborate with Oba Shubowale Benson to attract meaningful projects that will improve the welfare of the people.
Every community is my community. And Ojodu has the log that the Kabiyesi make us one of his chiefs, and we new chiefs now, we are going to help the community. I promise you that.
I intend to use it for the development of Ojodu Kingdom and Nigeria in general. I want to be part of progress in Ojodu Kingdom.
The ceremony later moved to a reception where guests are entertained with music and cultural displays, marking the celebration of tradition and unity in the community. Ayodeji Tomori Olunmi, Ogtv News.
Business news is next when we return.
On business news tonight, the World Bank says the global economy is showing greater resilience than earlier anticipated in spite of persistent trade tensions and policy uncertainty. The bank said that in its latest global economic prospect report released on Tuesday, which projects global growth to remain broadly steady over the next 2 years. According to the report, global growth is expected to ease at 2.6% in 2026 before rising slightly to 2.7% in 2027, representing an upward revision from its June 2025 forecast. It said that the improved outlook reflected better than expected performance in several economies, particularly the United States, which accounts for about 2/3 of the upward revision to the 2026 forecast. The federal government has launched the new Federal Government of Nigerian Savings Bond offer, targeting retail investors with competitive interest rates and low entry requirements, according to a document released by the Draft Management Office. The offer, issued on behalf of the federal government pursuant to the Debt Management Office Establishment Act 2003 and the Local Loans Register Stock and Securities Act, is aimed at encouraging savings among Nigerians who are providing a safe investment option backed by the sovereign guarantee of the government. Under the offer, investors can subscribe to a 2-year FGN savings bond due 21st January 2028, which carries an interest rate of 14.396% per annum, or a 3-year federal government savings bond due on 21st January 2029, offering a higher return of 15.396% per annum. The National Bureau of Statistics says it will publish 2 separate inflation figures for December after changes to its consumer price index methodology caused the headline rates to more than double. This is according to information reported by Bloomberg, citing comment from the statistics agency. The development follows the recent rebasing of Nigerian CPI, which introduced methodological adjustments that significantly distorted the December inflation reading. The inflation data, scheduled for release on January 15, are projected to show an artificially spiked inflation rate of 31.2% for December compared with 14.5% recorded in November. At least 5 electricity distribution companies supplied a disproportionate share of power to less commercial viable and poorly accounted feeders in the third quarter of 2025. According to the latest industry performance report released by Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, the affected discos, Benin, Kaduna, Ibadan, Yola, and Port Harcourt, recorded significant negative variances between their billing efficiency and energy accounting efficiency, a key regulatory metric used to track how electricity is allocated across customer bands under the multi-year tariff offer. The imbalance resulted in electricity distribution companies losing an estimated 147.92 billion naira to billing inefficiencies in the third quarter of 2025. And finally, U.S. President Donald Trump says he's imposing a 25% tariff on goods from countries that continue to do business with Iran, escalating economic pressure on Tehran amid weeks of widespread protest. This is according to a statement Trump posted on his social media handle, outlining a new trade measure that each said takes effect immediately. The announcement signals a sharp expansion of Washington's use of tariff as a foreign policy tool, with potential consequences for several major U.S. trading partners. Nigeria will be exposed to potential spillovers from the proposed U.S. tariff due to its growing trade relationship with Iran, particularly in non-oil commodities. Bilateral trade between both countries has expanded steadily in recent years. And that's the business news. It's back to Dominic.